Fountain football!
Alright, so welcome to Fountain Football. I'm Ryan, and this is Gary and Jake, and we're going to be talking about football. This is a quick little podcast we're going to be doing every week, and we're going to be running down NFL games to college games to high school games.
Another week. Another great week of football. And this week we're going to start off with high school, and we're going to dive right into it. We had Midland High beating Saginaw High 23-6. Once again, Midland High becoming a very good team.
Very good,
I know
very good.
They're 5-1, 4-1, so they're doing really well. We have Mount Pleasant beating Bay City Western, a murder 43-7.
Yeah.
Flint Powers Catholic beating Flint High 31-12. Davison beats Lapeer 35-17. Midland Dow beats Arthur Hill 55-20. Bay City John Glenn beat Bay City Central 28-24. Bay City Central led by 14 in that game going into halftime, but John Glenn outscored Central 21-3 in the second half.
They did.
Flint Carmen Ainsworth beat Saginaw Heritage 38-35. That was a really close one.
Yeah, close game.
Carrollton beat Alma 26-12. Freeland beat Standish Sterling 27-21. Chesaning beat Shepherd 62-18. Swan Valley got a shutout victory against Bullet Creek 45-0. Frankenmuth beat Millington 28-22. Novell Catholic beat Garber 29-18. Ithaca beat Ovidosi 51-16. And our final game, Hemlock beat Valley Lutheran 52-7. Whew!
Some big game.
Yeah.
Some big blowouts.
A lot of blowouts, not a whole lot of close games.
Yep.
So
High school is getting into that time. It's getting into the crunch time when all the high schools really got to start performing. So it's going to get really exciting to see some of these fall games and see what turns out with these high school teams, these Michigan teams.
For sure, for sure.
Awesome.
So our high school game of the week next week is going to be Lapeer versus Midland High at Midland High. So Amanda will be bringing us some sideline footage and interview possibly from that game. So tune in next week for that.
Tune in. So now we're going on to college. So for our game of the week, we have the upset of, I would say, the year in Michigan sports. We had Michigan State beating Michigan 14-10.
And if I remember, you both called Michigan winning, and I called State.
Right. But I was only skeptical. I thought,
okay.
Michigan State unranked last year, 3-9, going into the Big House against the number 7 team in the nation. Most people would call it unrealistic. That is like the Titanic, man. Michigan was Titanic last night,
Yeah.
and Michigan State was the iceberg, baby, and they knocked down number 7. They really showed them. I mean, that's 8 of the last 10 years that Michigan State has won. Who's the little brother now, man?
3 out of 4 for Harbaugh.
Who's the little brother now?
3 out of 4 losses for Harbaugh.
Is Harbaugh overrated?
I don't think Harbaugh's necessarily overrated.
Is Harbaugh because think about it. To Ohio State, he hasn't won a game. To Michigan State, he hasn't won a game.
He's won one.
To Big Ten, he's won one.
One game at
You're right, and that was last year, a fluke year. Michigan State had some problems. Michigan didn't even win by a lot. They won. They looked good because Jabril took back that fumble at the last play. But that's it.
So, yeah, Michigan loses to State. I don't necessarily think State beat Michigan, but Michigan beat themselves.
5 turnovers.
5 turnovers
That's pretty bad.
State had none.
Yep.
You can't win a game with a negative 5 turnover deficit. You just can't.
No, sir.
Yeah, and like I said last week, if they can stop the turnovers, if Michigan State can not turn over the ball and score, they would win the game. And that's exactly what they did. And Michigan stabbed themselves in the back. To be a Michigan fan right now, I'd probably hate my life because to go into the Big House, seriously, for an unranked, and it doesn't help it's Michigan State. In fact, that probably would make me more pissed off.
Well, obviously.
Obviously, because Michigan straight up just let down all their fans.
Yeah.
If you paid $100 for a ticket, I would straight up riot right now. Because that's bullshit. Because if you have a number 7 team with all that talent, you can't do that.
You
can't let Michigan State come into the Big House and beat Michigan.
Yeah.
But thank God I'm a Michigan State fan. So go green.
I really liked D'Antonio's play calling this week.
Yeah.
They got the lead.
Yeah.
And then, which is kind of it's a big topic right now. D'Antonio played like the most conservative offense they've ever seen. Like
It's pretty good.
It was, which some people are saying, no, we should try scoring more points just in case Michigan comes back. But the way D'Antonio played that game, very conservative, let the defense do work, and just ran the ball up Michigan's throat just to keep the clock moving, to keep possession of the ball, which the possession clock didn't really matter because there was no turnovers, which is what he was trying to prevent. But if Michigan would have had a solid offensive drive, they would have lost the lead. And that's what people didn't like about it very much.
Yeah, that was the big scare, and especially a number 7 ranked team like Michigan, and just the weapons that they have the potential to have on offense and the ability to score. It's kind of risky to play like that, but it was a good win. Their defense, Michigan State's defense, stepped up, caused 5 turnovers. That was amazing. I know, obviously, Michigan State's offense is having a lot of problems right now, but they just can't really score. But what they did in just doing these short passes, just these runs, and just playing to just try to get a field goal or just get field position is what they needed this week. And that's how they beat Michigan. And it's a crazy big upset going into the big house and just demolishing that. For an Ann Arbor fan, that'd be horrible.
Yeah.
And, it's just really, really upsetting for all Michigan fans out there.
Now, both teams are 4-1 now. The Big Ten is a pretty tough conference. What do you think MSU has to do going forward to some of these tough games coming out? Penn State, Northwestern, Ohio State.
They have to keep up the defense.
Now, MSU moving forward, obviously got to keep their momentum up, keep that defense up.
Uh-huh.
What do you think Michigan has to do moving forward to remain a playoff contender?
Michigan needs to not turn the ball over. I think that's obvious.
Yeah,
you see 5 on the stat sheet. That's pretty crazy. That's. I mean, if any team turns over 5 times, I mean that's insane. If a good offense would take control, if you put it like this, everyone says Michigan could be a playoff contender, and I see this so often, and I think it's really crazy because you turn the ball over 5 times against Clemson, against Alabama, the game's over. You're blown out by 50 points going into halftime.
Uh-huh.
Absolutely.
And, like, Nick Saban's just rubbing it in with his golden trophies. I mean, that's what's going to happen. I mean, in every... College football right now is so divided. It's Southern schools versus literally everyone else. I mean, it's pretty crazy because it's like Alabama, Clemson. That's it. Those are the only 2 teams. Everyone else is literally non-existent in college football right now. No one can do what they're doing. And to see any of these Big Ten teams try to compete with that and try to win, it's pretty crazy. And to see Michigan, I mean, they're obviously not going to make it to the playoffs anymore. But if they have that chance of winning out and making it to the playoffs, I feel really bad if they can't fix their turnover ratios and if they just can't move the ball, because they're going to have a really tough time playing some of these elite powerhouse stacked Southern teams.
Absolutely. Well, first of all, not having a very good QB in for that game was kind of rough.
Yeah,
no one moving the ball very well. O'Korn didn't play up as much as he should.
Like I said, O'Korn's not a good quarterback. O'Korn is overrated. He's scared. He's so flustered. If anybody rushes him, he feels the need. He's just so quick with throwing the ball. And a lot of times, that's a rookie mistake. He'll learn from it. He's at Michigan. He's under Harbaugh. Harbaugh's a great quarterback coach. So, I mean, he's going to learn from that, and he won't make those mistakes in the future. But 3 interceptions, 198 yards, that's just horrible to do, especially against an unranked team at home.
Absolutely.
You can see his really mistakes from not playing, and see what he does moving forward. And obviously, when Spate comes back, they'll start picking up the pace again, and then maybe we can obviously see if Michigan maybe in the future is a playoff contender, and if they are a bowl winner, if they can make it there.
Absolutely. So 2 more big games for both Michigan and Michigan State, Penn State and Ohio State. Both of those need to be wins for both teams, honestly.
Sure, yeah.
But to be in question,
really more for Michigan than Michigan State, just because
playoffs. Yeah.
Yep. Anything else about Michigan State, college football in general for you guys?
No, that's just my thing on college football right now. Is I just think it's so lopsided. It's it's kind of taken out the fun of watching college football anymore because you already know who's going to be in the national championship game. You can put Clemson, you can put Alabama, put them in the game right now because that's what it's going to be. And I mean, they're kind of it's wasting time just playing all these games just to see who's going to play in bowl games. I mean, right now it's just Alabama, Clemson, they're on another level. Just all those teams in the South getting all their recruits.
I think you can put Georgia into that as well.
Georgia's playing okay right now.
They're playing good.
They're playing great.
Yeah.
I mean, just all Southern teams, man. It's just really biased. Sucks to be a Big Ten fan. Just to be a.
It really does.
Yeah, honestly,
it's the SEC.
Yeah, and Michigan is the only team who has gotten recruits. I mean, Michigan State. Who do they have? Who do they ever get for recruits? Nobody. If you look back at all their best players, they're all 3 stars, 2 stars coming out of high schools that no one's really heard of, that everyone overlooks that, smaller schools like Eastern, Central, give them offers, and that's Michigan State, and that's who they turn into talent. So if they got those recruits, it'd be a whole nother level, but that's what they're trying to prove right now. Yeah. Moving on to the NFL, we have the Chiefs still undefeated against beating the Texans. Alex Smith throws for 3 touchdowns, 324 yards. Tyreek Hill shows that flash.
Yeah.
Like we said last week, I think our video got cut out, but we were talking a lot about Tyreek Hill and how his speed is really, really killer in the NFL. I mean, he's up there. He's running a 9. I think it was a sub 10 40-yard dash or something like that. Something crazy, man. Not 40-yard dash, but 100-meter.
Yeah. Not 40.
Tyreek is just insane. Yeah, he runs like a 4.2. Crazy. We saw that with the punt return. Just amazing.
Yep.
Are the Chiefs, do you think they're going to go somewhere with the Super Bowl this year? I mean, I know they have a lot of talent on that team, and they're undefeated right now. So
they have a lot of talent on the team, but they also have a very tough schedule coming up.
They do.
Coming up weeks. Next week, the Steelers.
Right.
The week after, the Raiders, and then the week after, the Broncos. Those 3 very tough teams.
No, they're not.
They are.
No. Steelers have been playing awful.
Okay, Steelers.
Big Ben
not that
had
bad.
the worst game of his life.
That's fair. But Raiders and Broncos.
Derek Carr's injured. They don't have their lead quarterback. They're going with Connor Cook. Okay, that's an easy win.
So you're saying from week 7 they're going to be 7-0.
They're going to be 8-0. What I see here, Steelers, Raiders, Broncos, nobody that stands out. No? None of those teams stand out. Broncos defense, stands out. Steelers offense has been shit, has been horrible. Le'Veon Bell hasn't been able to do anything. We have Antonio Brown not being able to get open. Ben Roethlisberger playing like he's a rookie, looking like O'Corn out there. He's looking horrible. I mean, he's playing horrible. I mean, the Chiefs right now are on all cylinders. Alex Smith's playing good. They got playmakers. I don't see him losing. I see him 8-0, and I obviously don't know what the rest of their season looks like, but
it gets easier after that. This is probably their toughest 4 weeks right here. And you're saying they're going to be 8-0.
They're going to be 14-2 by the end of the season.
So.
14-2, 2 losses.
There's a hot take.
2 losses.
Gary's hot take, 14-2.
Gary's hot take.
We'll see.
The Kansas City Chiefs are elite.
Okay.
Alex Smith is elite. No matter what people want to say, Alex Smith's an elite quarterback.
Do you think Alex Smith has a chance at being MVP this year?
No. I would say my MVP is obviously Matthew Stafford, baby. But I don't think it's gonna happen, man. MVP is probably gonna go to. It might go to him. You never know who's the leader at the end of the season. It could be Cam Newton.
The way he's been playing right now.
You never know. I mean, what could happen? And then we have the Texans side of this all. We have Deshaun Watson playing good,
Very good.
Great, actually, for a rookie. 5 touchdowns, 261 yards. Absolutely insane. He has 12 touchdowns and 4 interceptions, and he also has 3 fumbles. I mean, what can we take out of that with Deshaun Watson, rookie quarterback, has some fumble issues. Obviously, 4 interceptions, 12 touchdowns, that's good. That's standard.
On a not very good offense.
Right, exactly.
The offense isn't great and hasn't been great in years. They have a good defense, but that offense has not been.
J.J. Watt's injured now.
J.J. Watt did just get hurt. We should probably take a moment of silence for J.J. and the city of Houston.
Obviously. No, I don't care.
No? Okay.
Oh, my God.
I don't care about J.J.
J.J. I don't really care either.
Right.
All right, I'd just like to take a moment And for all Giants fans out there,
New York, we're praying for you. Here in
we're
Michigan,
going to take a moment of silence.
At least you have the Jets. The Jets of any team.
The Jets are the better team in New York right now.
This is a moment of silence for you guys.
Moment of silence.
All right, that's all you guys.
Yeah,
all right, because you don't have Odell, you don't have Sterling Shepard, you don't have Perkins, you don't have Brandon Marshall.
You don't have nobody.
Who do you have? Eli Manning. Eli Manning hasn't been good since
I was born.
2011, maybe.
Right. Yeah.
I think was probably the last time.
Yeah, he doesn't have Peyton anymore to call up after all of his losses and give him cheats on how to, you know.
That team is just looking sad. They lost to the Chargers. Also, another terrible team in the league right now.
They lost to the Chargers, man.
27-22. Like,
how do you lose to the Chargers,
I don't know, dude.
The Chargers are literally a choke of a team. They moved to LA. No one likes them. Literally, they don't. USC fills up more tickets than San Diego.
Their stadium is empty every game. Yeah,
it's retarded.
It's bad there.
They're in a big situation. The Giants, obviously, they're screwed. But what we do have to look forward to is the Lions. The Lions did take a loss this week to the Panthers, 27-24.
So why are we looking forward to that?
Because I think that was their hardest team that they had to face. They have Aaron Rodgers. That's it. I'm not going to say the Packers. I'm going to say Aaron Rodgers because that's all the Packers have.
Packers are also
call me a salty Lions fan, but they have Aaron Rodgers. That's it. And I don't really see any other team that can potentially beat the Lions. I think that the Lions can run away with how many wins? 11 wins. I honestly believe so.
I think 11-5 sounds about right. I mean, they got the Packers twice. That's going to be tough, obviously.
14-2, big man.
You said 11? Oh, 11 more wins? I thought you were saying 11 wins.
I think they can win out. I think the Lions can go undefeated because the Lions have playmakers, and they're finally coming off of some of these injuries a little bit.
Well, yeah.
They still have some, but they're getting some people back. They're getting back Gerard Davis, huge. He played a fantastic game. It was just their defense couldn't really hold it, and their offense, again, came too late. How many times... It's getting really, really... Stafford is the clutchest quarterback. Matt, we get it, man. Stop with all the clutch stuff. We don't care anymore. Get us some first and second quarter touchdowns.
Let's get the lead early.
Because we're done with the fourth quarter stuff. It's not enough. Those 2 touchdowns, amazing. I thought they were going to come back. All they had to do was stop them on the third down. They couldn't.
Cam Newton completed that pass to Kelvin Benjamin.
That's pretty crazy.
Yep.
I thought they might have had a chance to, do something crazy, make Lions history.
But no,
another crazy game.
No, another loss. We're Detroit fans. We're used to it.
I think the big game coming up here is the Saints this week.
Yep.
Going on the road to the Saints before their bye week. I really think that has to be a win.
I think this is the best situation for Matthew Stafford possible. Matthew Stafford, we saw him limping. We saw him kind of going through some hard stuff. Going against the Saints, lost AP. They're not really looking good. The Saints don't look like the Saints of the past. They don't look like the who-dat Saints, you know what I mean? Like the championship winners, baby. They don't look like that anymore, man. And I think this is a great game to go in, squeak out a 7-point win. That's it. That's all you have to do. Last year, they killed the Saints. Only win that they didn't come back on, I think.
It was like,
if I have my stats right.
Destroyed them too, yeah.
So, I mean, if we can get the win, then Stafford has the bye week, get rested up, and then take on the Steelers, take on the Packers. Then we have the Browns. Then we have the Bears.
The Vikings,
the Ravens.
Easy. It's
an easy roll after that. So if they can go in, be 4-2 after going into the bye week. If you're going 3-3, that's a whole different story than 4-2. That hurts like bad to be even because then the Packers are ahead of you most likely.
Well,
and so it'll really hurt if they don't get this win versus the Saints. But if they do, I think they can win every game.
Yeah, if they win versus the Saints, they go into the bye, they get rested up. If they lose, they have to go into that bye and practice. Because they got to get ready for the Steelers and the Packers coming up. But if they go into that, be able to get some rest, have some momentum, I think coming into Week 8 versus the Steelers, that should be a win. And then the big game's going to be 9 versus the Packers.
Exactly.
That has to be a win for the NFC North. Absolutely.
And obviously, the last game of the year is always against the Packers.
As well,
I think it's going to come down to a situation like it did last year with that race, that battle, Green Bay versus Detroit.
Yeah,
Who would have ever thought it'd be Green Bay versus Detroit? But it's this era, man. I'm loving it, man. It's the Lions era, man. They're coming up, and I think they're in playoff contention.
Yeah. But after the Steelers and Packers, 2 kind of tough games, we go into a pretty easy streak. Browns. Come on.
Okay, come on. Yep.
Bears. Come on.
If Trubisky can be good, he was all right. He was decent.
I don't think the Bears have enough weapons on that team for Trubisky to even throw to worry about it.
Exactly.
So,
that's true. Jordan Howard is who they have to worry about, but he hasn't been looking good. He had a good rookie year, but now people have kind of been like, all he is a power rusher. Let's blitz everyone, and down goes Chicago.
And they got not a whole lot of pass game there. So.
Exactly.
Vikings haven't been playing all
Bradford
that
might be coming back
Bradford is coming
at that
back,
time,
yeah.
so that might be a tough game.
Ravens kind of depends on how it goes at the time.
Whatever happened to Teddy Bridgewater?
He's still hurt. He's coming off of a shoulder injury.
Still hurt.
Yeah. Shoulder or ACL, I can't
That's
remember.
crazy.
But
man.
He's still doing that.
Anyway.
Buccaneers, that could be a tough game.
Yep.
They've been playing pretty good lately.
They have. Elite.
Bears again, nothing much there. Bengals, that's a pretty tough game, defensive-wise.
He's lying.
Okay.
The Bengals suck. Come on.
They got a good defense.
That's
what you got to worry about.
They suck.
All right.
No.
And then Packers last game of the season.
Big
so we'll
game.
see. I'm calling 11-5. I think.
11-5.
Yeah.
You got my picks, baby.
Dude,
14,
I don't
17.
even know.
Jake doesn't even know.
I'm gonna say
So that is another week of Fountain Football. Thanks for watching us one more week. We appreciate that. And so till next time, stay great. Thanks for watching.
Oh,
it's Jay-Z and the joke's on me.